has a recliner in the living room that's been all worn down because for the last 10 years he's came home from work and just sat on the couch because he doesn't have any ambition. Use your mind to become better. Having multiple women. What's the point? Yo, welcome back to the video. Welcome back to the episode of the Limitless Lifestyle series. I was not the type of person that I want my son to be like. I had bad habits. I was out of shape. I was undisciplined. I didn't take care of myself. I didn't eat healthy. I was not in the shape that a father should be in. And I wasn't somebody to look up to. I want to be somebody that my son can look up to. I want to be that superhero in my son's life. I don't want to be that replica that he would want to be. But I want him to be better than me 100%. But I want my son to be the best version of himself. So I would raise my son with discipline, with willpower, with self-respect. I would drill these things into him so that at the end of the day, I live by a limitless lifestyle because my mindset is limitless. So I want him to do the same. But I want his mindset to be even better than mine. So what I do, I would lead by example. I would have him go to the gym with me, right? But it will start by me going to the gym and him seeing me go to the gym every single day. I will start by him seeing me take care of myself every single day. For my son to look up to me, I would need to be a leader. So what do I have to start doing? Start leading my life in the direction that I think it should go, right? So the noteworthy achievements that I have, I want my son to top them because I would teach him my process of how I accomplished the things that I accomplished, and then I would have him distill it because he's his own person and have him be better than me at the end of the day. Because I know for a fact that my son will be better than me 100% because I'm going to be the most successful version of myself. However, I'm going to use my experience, my knowledge of what I've learned as a person throughout my years and throughout my experiences to teach him, not so I can limit him, right? Because I don't want him to be limited. I want him to be limitless. I want him to believe in himself to a T. I want him to know that he can achieve anything he puts his mind to. Because this is what I wish I would have known when I was younger. Does that make sense? So when I was younger, if I would have had a limitless mindset, the progress that I could have made from the age of, say, 15 to 20 could have been accelerated if I had known a couple more things about life. Or I had a role model to accelerate and expedite my learning curve. However, the thing about it is that there's some things, and no matter what you do and no matter what you teach, you still have to learn it from your own experience. So although my son would be in the best physical shape of his life and have the best and strongest mindset out of his peers and the majority of people, in my opinion, there's still going to be roads in life he's going to come across that he's going to have to test his own limitless mindset. Because there's going to be things within himself that's going to still limit him. He's still going to have limiting beliefs. So he's going to have to learn things about life because the heights that he's going to try to push you and the heights that he will push you, then he's going to have to break the things that I've either taught him to become even better than what I've taught him. So he's going to have to go out of his way to, or not even out of his way, he's going to have to learn how to be better than me. But I intend on being so successful by the time that I have my son that what I do teach him is going to set him apart from the majority of the average person. Especially the average man. I want him to be at an age as to where once he leaves my house, then he is in a better financial spot than I was at his age, a better mental spot than I was at his age, a better physical spot than I was at his age, so that when he goes out into the workforce, then not only is he not blindsided by things that can appear, because I wish I would have known more about the workforce before I got into it. Because people could be nasty, people could be deceiving, people could be all types of manipulating. Right? And the thing about it is that a lot of things you won't know until you actually come across them. And it's up to you to be able to handle those things in the moment and keep your composure to be able to move forward and learn from your mistakes or even learn from just overall situations that you go through in life. So I would make sure that my son, his level of awareness as he gets older is to a level as to where he is confident within himself and has a backbone and has his own perception about life and has his own identity. So once he goes out into life and starts to live his own life, aside from me as his parent, aside from me trying to guide him in what I think is best, because at the end of the day, I don't know what's best for him completely. Because just like my parents don't know what's completely best for me, I won't know what's best for him until he tells me what's best for him, right? Because I can only lead him so far. I can only give him so much of what I know as a parent. As he gets older, it's going to be up to him to choose his own path. He might not want to be like me. He might not. But at the same time, he might want to be exactly like me because I might be so impactful, influential to his life and the people around me that he'll want to emulate me as a leader, as a father, as a parent, as a businessman. So all the things that I do in my life, it's so that I can pass down these lessons so that my son can build character as he gets older. Because especially with the way that society is going these days, not only the lack of fathers in households these days, not only that lack, but the fathers that are in the household, are they really somebody you will look up to? The fathers these days, not all of them, but a lot of them, because as I said before in one of my other videos, 70% of Americans are fat. And I think it's a higher percentage of that, as a matter of fact. So if you come home to your dad, and he's sitting on the couch drinking Coca-Cola, out of shape, got a beer belly that hangs over his stomach, can't even see his toes, has a recliner in the living room that's been all worn down because for the last 10 years he's came home from work and just sat on the couch because he doesn't have any ambitions in him, because he eats McDonald's every single day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Since he does these things, he's not a man worth looking up to. He doesn't even respect himself. He doesn't even love himself. He doesn't even put enough time, energy, and effort into himself to become a better version of himself, to work on a project that's bigger than just going to his 9-to-5 job. He hasn't had the energy or the willpower or the purpose within himself to be a better person. That's not who I want to be for my son. I want to be the type of father who goes out every single day to hustle, to be even better than I was yesterday, to be able to learn more than I did yesterday, so that by the time that I come back home to my son, he can look at me and say, "Thank you, Dad. I appreciate you. I appreciate you going out every single day to not only take care of me, but take care of my sisters, my brothers, my mom." So I know you might be asking at this point, so what about your daughters? So for my daughters, I will raise them to be literal queens, right? I will love my daughter like no other. But at the same time, my wife is going to be the perfect role model for my daughter. So as my daughter grows up, she's going to want to emulate her mother, because the woman I choose is going to be to a certain standard, so that I know for a fact that the things that my wife knows and is, she's going to be able to instill those into her daughter as well, into our daughter. So for example, like my niece, right? Beautiful, beautiful girl, right? She just turned 2, I think, December. And the thing about it is that I would do anything for her. When we go out in public, then I make sure that she's safe. I make sure that she lives comfortably. But at the same time, I also make sure that she knows boundaries, that she has discipline, that she has self-control, that she knows her worth and her value, so that any man that she brings into her life has to be better than me. I believe that, here's the thing. If as a man, right, you're not to my standard, and if I don't feel that you've checked off all the boxes when it comes to your mindset, your income, your ability to provide for my daughter in every way possible, if you can't do these things, you're not going to be with my daughter. Simple as that. Simple as that. So the people who I talk to, they're of a certain standard, of a certain caliber. So my daughter's going to be protected. So to even get to my daughter, you have to get through me first, my screening. So if you pass that, then you'll know for a fact that you're a quality man. But at the same time, the way that I move these days is so that my future family can rely on me, so that my wife doesn't have to worry about what I'm doing. My wife doesn't have to worry about my provision. She knows that I'm out there getting it. She knows that I'm hustling. And for my sons, they know that I'm living to the best of my ability to be the greatest version of myself, not just for me, but for my family. So my daughters, so they know that I'll protect them no matter the cost. So that my parents know that no matter what, I have them. That if anything ever were to go wrong in their life, I got them. So what does that mean for me? That means that I have to be on my P's and Q's every waking moment, because people rely on me. So the second that I give up, and the second that I quit, is the second that I let everybody down. Everybody who's believed in me, everybody who's trusted me, everybody who's invested in me. So it's up to me to keep going. And at the same time, for any other man out there, there's people who are, there's plenty of people who are relying on you, family or not. People at your job rely on you to do your job to your best of your ability, to come to work and to show up and to be the best version of yourself at work. People rely on you. And when you have your family, they're going to rely on you. Even now, your immediate family, if you have siblings, if you have parents, they rely on you. Even your friends, they rely on you as well. To show up for not only yourself, but for them as well. But you can't show up for them unless you show up for yourself first. So why do I do what I do now? Why do I show up for myself now every single day? Because the more I show up for myself, the better man that I'll be for my son. Because I do want to be a role model for my son. And I want to touch back on a point from earlier that I said about the quality of people that I choose to have into my life, right? And how my daughter will be raised as well. Because my standard for my wife is going to be high. So as I say, right, I have my non-negotiables. And so should you, right? Because if you want to become limitless and live a limitless lifestyle, it starts in your mindset and your standards you set for yourself. So have a high standard, right? Believe in yourself to a T. Do not compromise. So, for example, for me, my wife and the woman that I choose for me to take serious, right? And this is why it's so important to me, because the woman that I choose, she now inherits everything that I have. Because I was gonna make a video about this as well. It's not about you, right? As a man, it's never about you, especially when you have a family. It's not about you. It's about your family. The only thing that's about you is what you do. So the standards that I set for myself is the same standards that I judge my wife by or my woman by. She has to be in shape. She has to go to the gym. She has to do self-development of some sort. A strong mindset. Not to be masculine, because I don't want a masculine woman. I want a woman who knows her worth and who takes care of her mindset and curates her mindset. A woman who takes care of her nutrition. These are non-negotiables for me and the woman that I choose, because the same standard that I hold myself to, in order to be equally yoked, my woman has to be in the exact same boat as me, in the sense that she takes care of herself. She has self-care routines, right? She takes care of her internal and external health. At the same time, when it comes to meeting quality women, it takes you to be a quality man in order to meet them in the first place. So that's why it's important for you to have your things together as a man, to have your affairs in order, to be a man worthy of respect. How do you become a man worthy of respect? By respecting yourself, to do things that are respectable, by keeping yourself in check, by holding yourself accountable. Because there's two versions of people that you could be. You could be a limited man or a limitless man. It's up to you. The decision is always yours. Because in every juncture, in every point in time, in every single moment of the day, you have a decision to make. Whether you're going to push forward and do what needs to be done, or if you're going to digress and give up and let life move you and kick you around. It's up to you to take life and make life into what you want it to be. Because especially as a man, nobody's gonna give you any handouts. It's up to you to go out and to get it, to earn it. You have to earn a quality woman. You have to earn your income. You have to earn your physique. You have to earn your mindset. But as soon as you start to earn your mindset and to adopt a limitless mindset, that's when it becomes 10 times easier to attract these things into your life. The money, the status, the woman. And I want to touch on this as well, because I think that way too many people get too fixated on having multiple women. What's the point? What's the point of having multiple women? It's stupid. If you have one woman that checks all the boxes, what's the point of scattering your focus all over the place? What sense does it make? What value does that really add to your life by having multiple partners? What's the purpose? If you can comment below and give me a valid answer of what the purpose of having multiple women is, I'll give you $5. But I say to say this, right? Become a valuable man, become a limitless man, right? And become somebody worth looking up to. A good gauge of if you're worth looking up to is if you were 5, 10, 15 years younger than you were, right? The current version of yourself, the current mindset that you have, the current status of life that you have, right? Would you look up to you? Would you look up to you? Would you recommend you to somebody else? So with that being said, I encourage you to lock in, to put your head down, to get some work done, to become a man worthy of respect, become a leader, become the best version of yourself, not just for you, but for your future family, for your future son. Be the role model. Be his superhero. Be the one he looks up to. You have to do the work. You can't become somebody worthy of being looked up to if you're not doing the work, or else you're gonna lead them astray. So do the work, especially when you don't feel like it, because that's when the results actually come. That's when you build the character. I said this in one of my other videos. It may have been all cool and everything that I said I was working so many hours, right? It wasn't. It was terrible. I hated it. Would I swap it for anything? No. Wanna know why? Because I built character in that process. I learned more about myself than I ever have. Like, there was a moment, right, where I'd been working myself to the ground it was probably a couple months at this time. It was starting to get cold out, right? Winter was creeping up. And I was working at McDonald's. I was working in the window. And at the McDonald's I worked at, the heat didn't work whatsoever. So you had to literally bring your own heater. I brought my own heater because it was cold back there. I brought gloves as well because it was some cold winters there in McDonald's. But me, I had a mission. I had goals to accomplish. So what did I do? I stuck it out. I adapted to the environment. So where I'm going with this is that in this process of it getting colder out, I had a decision to make, because there was one day where I felt completely terrible. I was miserable, right? And here's why. I was feeling sick, right? And as the day went on, right? As a matter of fact, as soon as I got to work, I was sick. It's because before I even got to work, I'd been hustling for weeks at a time. And at this point, it was catching up to me and I had gotten sick. So this particular day, my morning routine as usual, wake up, do some work, do my reading and writing, go to the gym, and get ready for work, right? I'm at work, maybe 1 o'clock. I already want to go home. I wasn't even at work yet. I want to go home. However, why did I still show up at work? Because I had a mission. I had something to accomplish. I had a reason that I needed to go to work. My goals were more important than how I was feeling at the time. So as the night progressed and I got progressively sicker, progressively weaker, progressively more tired, every 15 minutes I was getting worse. I had the shakes. I could barely keep my eyes open. It was terrible, right? So it was maybe 4 or 5 o'clock, right? It was starting to get dark out. I had a decision to make. I could have asked my manager at the time, hey, can I go home? Or I'm gonna stick it out and make the rest of my money for the rest of my shift. So even before I had that decision to make on my break, then here's what I chose to do, right? Because I was freezing, right? It was freezing in that back room. So I had 2 decisions to make. It's either go home and grab a sweater because I was freezing, or sleep in my car to have enough energy to make it through the rest of my shift. I chose to sleep in my car. So what did I do? There was a Menards right next to my job. So I hopped in my car, clocked out for break, and took a nap in the Menards parking lot, trying to recover some energy because I was completely dead. My battery was negative. So by the time I get to the parking lot, I probably had maybe 20 minutes left to break. So I turn my heat all the way on high, recline my seat, and try and go to sleep. Mind you, I'm still cold, right? My car is still cold. But I needed some sleep. I needed something to get me through the rest of the day. So long story short, my alarm goes off, 2 minutes until I have to clock back in. I wake up even more tired and more cold than I was when I started. So the better option probably would have been to go home and get the sweater. However, I didn't. So I'll go back to work. My manager asked me, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm just fine. He goes, are you okay to finish the shift? I said, yes, I wasn't. But why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because I built character, right? Through the rest of the night, I started to lose my voice. I was cold, I was freezing, I had the shakes. I was tired. I learned more about myself in that 12 hours than I would have if I would have given up, threw in the towel, and just went home. So in those moments, right, what did I learn? What did I figure out about myself? I found out that my mind is stronger than what my body will ever be. And guess where I got that mindset from? Going to the gym. Because every time you load up the weight and every time you put more weight on the bar, what happens? There's a limiting belief that comes in that either says, hey, I'm not strong enough to lift this, or you completely override that and say, I'm going to lift this weight regardless. So this is what I say when I say your mindset translate from the gym to your actual life. So from then on, whenever I had a minor inconvenience, my mindset was, I'm stronger than this. I can overcome this. I can achieve this thing because I'm going to stay in my head. I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to stay dedicated. I'm going to stay driven. I'm going to keep my goal ahead of me. No matter what, I'm not giving up. Because if I give up now, I'm giving up on myself. And I won't know what it could have became if I give up now. That's a limitless mindset. That's a limitless mindset. When you can wake up and do the things that you don't want to do, and push through the not feeling like it to achieve your goal. Because you're never going to become great if you don't work where you don't want to work, where you don't feel like working. When boxers get knocked down, do you think that they feel like getting up? When they get hit with a liver shot and they're gasping for air and their organs are tightening up, do you think they feel like getting up? The majority of them don't. But the ones that do unlock that part of their mind that allow them to push further than they ever have because their mindset pulls them through whatever their body is physically feeling. Mind over matter. Their mindset is stronger than their body. So I guarantee you, the ones that do get up, next time they get hit, they're going to remember that they have what it takes to get through that moment. They have what it takes to persevere. They have the character now to become better than they ever have because they're not going to back down when they are subject to adversity. Now they're going to welcome it because now they know what they're made out of. They know that they have a warrior mentality. They know that they're a winner. They know that they didn't give up, as opposed to the person who just lets the referee get to the 10 count when they let their coach throw in the towel. And the thing about it is that the person who doesn't give up, the fighter who doesn't get up, the fighter who lets their coaches throw in the towel, guess what? More than likely, they didn't have the conversation with their coach to say, no matter what, let me go out on my shield. They didn't adopt the true warrior mentality. If it were me, I would have a conversation with my coach and say, no matter what, let me go out on my shield. Let me see what I'm made out of. Let me see if I've met my match. But want to know why I would tell him that? Because I know that leading up to that fight, I've put in the work. I've put in the effort, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the long nights in the early morning, the sacrifices from being with family, from being with friends. I know that I deserve to win. And if I don't, that means that I did something wrong. So I take accountability for where I messed up. So as a man, you need to take accountability for your life in every area, physically, financially, emotionally, spiritually. Because until you're dedicated to a purpose that's greater than you, you'll never really understand what you're made out of. Until you set a goal that's so big that it's just not easily attainable, they have to keep putting in the reps, putting in the effort, putting in the time, sacrificing, becoming, until you understand that process, you're never going to reach the level that you can truly reach because your mindset is probably so small that you don't see yourself bigger than what you actually are. Do you think winners envision losing? No, they envision winning. They're tunnel visioned on the goal, on the win. That does not mean that they're naive to understand that they can lose, that they're still mortal. But what it does mean is that no matter what, they're going to put in their 100% effort. So to tie it back in to being a man worth looking up to, it is up to you as a man, because you're a man, right? To put in the work, to become better on the daily basis, to hold yourself accountable. Because if you don't, you cannot guarantee that anybody else will. So it is up to you to focus on holding yourself accountable and doing the work. So with that being said, become a man worth looking up to, not just for yourself, but for your son and for the people around you. Become a leader. You become a leader by doing the work. All my links are in the description. Join my newsletter for more detailed content, for step-by-step things that you can implement into your life to become the best version of yourself, to become limitless, so you can live the limitless lifestyle. Because I want to say this as well. The limitless lifestyle is a mindset above all else. It's a mindset that allows you to live a lifestyle that you desire, that you dream of. But you cannot live the lifestyle of your dreams. You cannot have the things that you want out of life until you use your mind to become better, until you apply yourself, until you do the work. Nothing worth having in life comes without you doing the work. Do the work and become limitless.